Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Pam Russo with Perfectly Holistic, and we are here for another show. And my co-host, Dr. Barrie Sands, our beautiful integrative emergency holistic vet from San Diego. So, Merry Christmas to everyone, and thank you guys for joining us. Dr. Sands, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. I just want to comment that from my viewpoint, Pam, you're frozen in time. So I don't know what that looks like to maybe it's just me or the rest of the world. I don't know. But
Well, the good thing is recording locally, so it should be okay. So we're just gonna roll through.
we're just
so, so you guys, okay, for the first, I guess one of my first questions is for everyone tonight. How are you feeling? Right? How are you navigating through this holiday season? So if you are watching tonight, drop a comment over here in the comment areas, wherever you're watching from. And just a little reminder, if you guys are watching on Instagram, we can't see your comments. So if you would like to hop over onto our YouTube channel or Facebook page, we can see your comments there. And I just want to let me know where you're watching from so we can say hello. And yeah, we just want to kind of do a little quick check-in and just see how's everybody navigating the holidays. Are you feeling stressed? Are you calm? Are you relaxed? What are you doing to help navigate through any overwhelm? And how are your pets doing? Most importantly, how are your pets doing? So, where should we start?
well, I think, questions are always nice to have because you know a direction that you're going to be taking. However, because stress in the holidays can come from so many different places, and it also affects so many different avenues and ways of how we live our lives and our pets. And so we can certainly talk about stress in animals and how that's manifested. We can also talk about how to mitigate our own stress in relation to our animals,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's important. So I don't know. Where do you want to go with this, Pam?
Well, here's some really cool comments. Spence Marcel says, feeling good, good energy in the Seattle area. So that's good. And then Levis says, I'm from Los Angeles, no family, no stress.
Yeah, see, that's funny, right? That's funny you say that. I also, I for some reason, I can't see any of the comments. So,
Okay,
um,
on the top right corner of your screen, do you see a little like toolbar and at the top it says comments?
yeah. Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, just click comments and then you should be able to see everything. So that'd be great.
Okay.
Um, And I do want to answer just a quick question to Love Is regarding the one you shared about the flea meds. That personally, I would throw them out. Dr. Sands has another perspective, but for me, I don't want to poison any other cat, so I would just throw them out. But Dr. Sands, go ahead and answer the
Yeah,
question.
I don't want to waste our time talking
Yeah,
about, flea meds and all of that.
yeah.
But I think that, if there's an animal that is flea infested, that really needs that medication at that point in time, it's probably helpful. Other than that, there's better ways.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you want to donate it to a shelter, then you can certainly do that. Um, just know that otherwise you could just throw it away.
Mhm. Yes, yes. Well, cool. Well, for anyone who's watching that might be just maybe you're just a little shy and don't want to share, that's fine too. But let's start by talking about how we can become more self-aware of our own. Like, I really feel like some people aren't even aware that they are stressed. They live in some level of sympathetic nervous system stimulation all the time, and they don't even realize that they are totally stressed. They're walking around, they're not breathing right, they're tense, they have headaches, they have shoulder neck pain all the time because basically their body is just so locked up and tight and holding on to all this tension that they're not even aware of. So what
Yeah.
what are some things that you would recommend for people just like to start paying attention and am I holding stress? Am I ignoring stress? Like, what can I do to even just be aware?
Yeah. Well, I feel like you kind of hit it on the head that it has become almost normalized.
Mhm.
Because it's such a ubiquitous terminology that we use all the time. We say, oh, I'm so stressed. And the behaviors and the feelings that we have in our body, that high sympathetic tone, is
Mhm.
something that we're used to having. So we may not, like you said, recognize that as an attribute or an aspect of stress.
Yeah.
However, I think the best way to sort of start to change your physiology is to take the time to check in with yourself in a quiet moment and
Mhm.
feel how your body's feeling. You know, what is your heart rate? What is your breathing pattern like?
Yeah.
What is your blood pressure if you can take that? Most people, some people have blood pressure machines in their home. You know, you
Mhm.
that or just take a quiet moment to feel where in your body do you feel tightness? Do you feel pain? Do you feel something that needs a little bit of extra love and care? And then do the opposite. Try to take a moment and breathe. Take a deep, deep breath a few times in and out for about, I would say, a minute. And then
Mhm.
check in with your body and see again, how do you feel differently? Because I think when we start recognizing the subtle nuances of the difference between when we are stressed and when we're not stressed, then we'll be able to focus on the moments when we are stressed and how to mitigate that in that moment.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
It definitely does. When I was teaching yoga, at the end of our classes, we would do shavasana for like 5 or 10 minutes. And one of the things that I always did was, well, not always, but a lot of the times, we would do a body scan where you're just laying down, your eyes are closed, your arms are relaxed at your side, and you just kind of start at your feet. And you would like pretend you're looking down onto your body and feel the body at the same time, and start at your toes and just kind of slowly work up, through your knees, your legs, your hips, your back, your abs, your shoulders, and just notice how it feels. Is it feel like you're holding on and tight? Is something off? Even on our face, is our jaw relaxed? Is our brow furrowed all the time? Or can we do something to soften around our eyes and our brow, our forehead? And just like you said, really tune into how your body feels, because those are really good clues to see if you are stressed out. If you're, are you breathing, relaxed breathing? Are you one of these people who takes quick, shallow breaths all the time and hold your breath a lot because you don't even realize you're not breathing right? I think so many people just don't breathe, you know?
Yeah. Well,
And
I
it's like,
think it's nice to be able to take a minute and or a moment to go into those meditative states or deeper times where you can be alone and check in with yourself. However, I think a lot of our holiday stress is in the moment,
Mhm.
right? And it's how are we going to show up in the moment when you're getting in your car and you're driving in traffic, or you're all the stores are crowded and people are cutting each other off.
Mhm.
And I think when there's a lot of crowded areas and people are just congregating,
Yeah.
that adds another level of stress to most people, and they get cranky,
Mhm.
and they get impatient. And
Yeah.
so, one of the things to do is to just find joy and humor in a moment. Try
Mhm.
to be more lighthearted and
Yes.
and know that everything's okay. Be the smile to other people.
Yes, exactly. And maybe when you're in those moments where all of a sudden you're kind of feeling a little irritated, it's like be aware. But I think also just being mindful, like you were describing, and maybe even just reminding yourself to be grateful. Because when we can be in the moment and hold some gratitude that, you know what, I am grateful that I can be here in this mall, that I can go Christmas shopping. You just kind of have to flip the story, right? We have to flip it from something negative in our perspective to something the opposite, something positive, bringing in that gratitude, and that just kind of dissolves some of that edginess, if that makes sense, flip the narrative on yourself when you find yourself in those kinds of situations. Spence Marcel says, awareness I've had with my cats is that even if my stress level has decreased some, but not enough, my cats will still feel that, reminding me more relaxing is needed. Our animals do reflect it back to us. So if we come home and we're just frazzled and we're like rushing around and we just, we see our animals start to get that way. I think they do that to show us, and they're feeling our energy and our stress, right?
Yeah.
They mirror that back to us, like she was describing. Just it's awareness, right?
Right. Well, absolutely. And cats are most animals, but cats are very energetically sensitive. So they'll pick up on your energy before they even pick up on your physical characteristics.
Yes.
They'll see your energy and react to that. And one of the things that cats do, which is beautiful, is that they purr.
Mm-hmm.
And cat purrs carry a frequency of ultimate relaxation and healing. And the frequency is between 20 to 120 hertz.
Mm.
And within those frequencies, we know that resonates with the frequencies within our own bodies that are needed to heal our cells and our hormone systems and our cardiovascular system. So it actually does lower your blood pressure by just listening to the healing of the purring sounds. And that's a lot of the reasons why some cats will purr when they're sick, because they're self-soothing.
I've heard that, and I have to tell you, my favorite sound in the whole world is a cat purring. It is my favorite sound. And you know how we always, if we're in a bad mood and our cat comes over and sits on us or sits next to us and they're just like, their motor is just going and it just kind of melts us. And we're just like, oh, yeah. I don't know about you, but that's me. And I just like Skylar just a minute ago, she was just like, hold me, hold me, hold me. And she has a really loud purr box. And she was just purring and giving me little face bumps. She's one of those cats that like head bumps you a lot, but she bumps my nose. So she'll put her nose on my face and my nose and she'll bump me. And she's the cutest thing, but she is so loud, and it just makes me laugh, and it makes me so happy that she is so happy. It's calming. It's so calming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
And Marcella says, purring and kneading. I love it when they need to. Yeah, totally. Purring is the best, she says. Barbara says, whenever stress sneaks in, a few minutes of EFT tapping shifts it effectively. And her cat Tom and they tap together. I love that.
Oh yeah, my cat loves it when I tap. When I do that, he's just like, we'll get in the zone, and we're sitting there putting positive affirmations, on his little face.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I love that.
That's a great way to do that.
That's a great segue. So what kind of positive affirmations would you recommend? Like, just come up with 2 or 3 that people could try.
Well, I feel like it's if you're talking to your cat, it has to be kind of specific. The language that you use is probably the language that you well, you have to know your own animal, but things like cats find they need safety, right? They need to know that they have a safe space to be in. They know that their territory is not going to be infringed upon. They know that they need to know that there's going to be some relative balance in their life. And so just, things like, I am safe, I am protected, I am loved, I am whole,
Yeah. And then for their parents who might feel themselves a little overwhelmed, I guess you say, this too shall pass. Like this holidays. Some people really struggle through the holidays. I got to give it to them. It's very stressful, so just whatever it takes to just calm and bring you back into the present moment. And, one of the things I thought about that I think people struggle with, not everybody, but I think some people, like they overcommit themselves and they don't want to disappoint people and let people down. So they have a hard time saying no. And they feel like they have to go to everything and they have to do everything. So I would suggest, if you find yourself struggling with those kinds of emotions and feelings of obligation and you
Yeah.
get overwhelmed from it, I would just say, you know what? Take some time for self-care. Carve out some time to just be alone, do what you want to do. Um, you know, and know that it's okay to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything.
Right. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I think you nailed it with obligation. We feel that, there's a lot of family that's getting together,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's a great thing. Sometimes that's not such a great thing, but we feel obligated, to entertain or show up or be happy and be joyous. And sometimes we're not. And so during the winter right now where we are, it's an interesting time. I was thinking about this before. Um,
Mm-hmm.
coming up we just got out of a full moon. It
Yeah.
was a cold moon in December, very, very powerful moon. And we're coming into the winter solstice, which is on the 21st. And
Mm-hmm.
the winter solstice is the longest night of the year, right? The shortest day, the
Mm-hmm.
longest night, and the most darkness that we're going to have. And then after that, the nights are going to get shorter and shorter as the winter turns into springtime.
Yeah.
However, as we're entering the depths of the winter, the energy around that is to really become very solemn and reflective and alone and in solitude, so that you can regroup and reevaluate and reflect
Yeah.
yourself. And so we're in this sort of
In between.
this in between where we're are energetically, we probably feel like we want to go in and cocoon, but yet we're celebrating and joyous and
Yeah.
entertaining and all of that. And that is also very important, because the fir trees, the evergreens, historically, were in the Celtic traditions and the indigenous traditions, it was all about decorating the trees,
Mm-hmm.
honoring them for the winter months to come, so that they can grow fruit in the springtime.
Nice.
So that's kind of like our Christmas trees.
Yeah, exactly. Barbara says she has a really good affirmation that she gave us for those of you who tap. I navigate the holidays with grace and ease. With
Yes, that's beautiful.
with ease and
Absolutely.
grace. Yeah, and hold your cat while you do it so that you both can do it. So, yeah, okay, so let's talk about, what do you do if you have friends and family coming over and your pets are stressed out? What are some suggestions that you have?
Well, I think that one, you should, before you have the whole gamut of friends and family coming coming over, you should make sure that, one, you maybe have a conversation with your pets, let them know what's going to be happening, let them know there's going to be an influx of all of this energy coming
Yeah.
in. Let them know that this is going to happen, and show them physically a safe place that they can go to. Right. I
Mhm.
mean, most cats will do that. They'll run and hide, and they'll stand in the bed or in a room when there's guests that are over.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of normal. They already know that. But there's a different energy when there's an intention and a permission that you give. When you say to your cat, "Oh, you can go in your room if you'd like. It's okay." I don't know. Just really
Mhm.
have the conversation. If there's any dogs around. Then just make sure about certain foods and things that they don't get into. I think it's very mindful with cats, about decorative things like string,
Mhm.
pencils, and stuff that they love to eat, because just in this last few weeks, I've had 3 cats coming in that ate a bunch of
Mm.
tinsel and string.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and so, luckily, thank God, everybody vomited. we were able to make them vomit up their string, but it's not easy. Cats don't always vomit when you want them to.
That's true.
Yes.
That is so true. That's true. Yes. And it can happen so fast. Like you don't even know, 1 minute everything's fine and they're behaving. The next minute you see something go down the throat and you're like, wait, what? What was that? So it can be really, really fast. So that's a very good advice. If that's the case, definitely have your emergency vet phone number and address handy so that you can step up right away. In some cases, poison control, you get their ASPCA has a poison control number that you can call if you feel like they ingested something that was really bad. So yeah, it's just, things can get overlooked when there's hustle and bustle and there's a lot of people around. And, if people are not used to having your pets around and they can be very careless, but not intentionally. They just they don't know. They're not aware. So it puts a lot more stress on us.
Right. And I would also medically check in with your animals on a daily basis and see how they're feeling. Because I feel that in the hustle and bustle of all the things that we're doing constantly up into the holidays, we may not notice certain things that are happening with our cats or, our dogs. And before you know it, one day you wake up and they're laying there flat and you're like, well, what happened? How did it get like this? And this cat maybe has a urinary obstruction, because that's a very common thing that cats do when in the holiday stress. And you may not have really realized that they haven't used the litter box for 24 hours. Because of all the people and the busyness. And so sometimes that happens, especially with multi-cat households. You're not always just knowing what everybody's doing.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And I think just honoring your animal's personality too, because I have two that are very friendly and outgoing, and I have two that are very much more reserved and shy around strangers. And I'm hosting family next Wednesday. And my mom is coming back to visit. And she was here in November for Thanksgiving for like 4 days. And Breeze, my youngest kitten, well, she's not a kitten anymore, my youngest girl, she became very much shy around strangers because, I live alone. So there's never anybody here but me. And so she wasn't used to having all these people, just having people around in general. So it wasn't really her personality. She's not the fire energy that Skylar is, that just wants attention from everybody. Breeze is more cautious, more reserved. She's more the water cat sometimes. She's very sensitive. And so when mom first came, she was just like hiding in the other room, scared to peek around the door. But she did really well. Within 24 hours, she had managed to overcome that fear, and she was out in the kitchen and she was jumping up on the table when we were playing card games and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, she's really, really, she's done really great. My mom is a very calm energy.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's very different, once I have 8 people in my house of different personalities and, even men, because she's not used to being around men. She's used to being around women or me,
Well, I also think that, it's good not to be overprotective and worry, because it's life. Life happens, people come and go, you live in a house, and this is who you live with. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
So, to not worry about it and to just, let the energies flow. And cats are resilient. They know what to do, they'll figure it out and take care of themselves, and just let them know that if they want to. I feel like cats just need to be invited.
Yeah.
Because and then they choose not to come or not. But if they're not invited, then they get upset.
And that's another thing, like just having maybe carve out like 10 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day and do some play one-on-one with them, so that they're not left out and totally forgotten about. But if they are kind of stressed, those one-on-one play sessions are really good ways for them to bend some of that nervous energy and take them out of sympathetic mode and play and let them relax and have fun, for a little bit. I think that goes a long way. And I think it's overlooked a lot because we just get busy.
Right. And we go through our routines and they're doing what they're doing and we're doing what we're doing. But yeah, to make it very special.
Yeah.
Like you said, that doesn't have to be a long time, 10, 15 minutes. And,
yeah.
Add some treats to that, a little bit of catnip and you're all good.
Exactly. Okay, Spence Marcel says, are there things related to older cats that would be helpful? Our house is quiet. Nothing over the holidays will happen like any other day. We're with them 24/7. 2 cats ages 16 and 17. So,
I think probably the most important thing with any cat, but especially with older cats, is hydration. So if there's any way that you can get them to have a lot more moisture in their food or drinking more or special, tuna flavored water or even a little bit of diluted milk, if they like that, it's okay, just to give them some special hydration. I think that's probably the best thing you could do for your older cats, and help them groom if they need help grooming. I mean, I'm sure you guys do that, but,
brushing. Some of them love brushed. You can even take like a wet paper towel or something and just wipe them down if they have trouble grooming their back end a little bit more, and one of the things that stood out to me that I thought of when she asked that question was some older cats, as you know, Dr. Barrie, they get a little stiff. They might have a little, arthritis or whatever. I think the heated beds or like a heating pad that you can put a little towel or a blanket on that just kind of gives them a nice warm, cozy something to sit on. A lot of cats like that for their joints and their muscles. It just keeps them a little bit more mobile, with the warmth and the heat, the circulation. What do you think?
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, old arthritic joints love warmth because it vasodilates and it allows blood to flow into the tissue area to sort of soothe those joints. And there's heat, there's laser therapies, infrared technology. There are like healing mats, like a thing called a biomat. They have wonderful little loops called CC loops, which are a pulse electromagnetic field therapy that you can buy and just put the rings on the cat. So there's a lot of things that you could do to help with the arthritis, and definitely heat's the easiest thing, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Right. And she says, is it diluted milk with water?
So it's just milk is fine for a cat if they like milk, but with the extra water to it, it just allows them to drink more water because it's flavored.
Yeah. And I want to know if we have any suggestions for heating mats. I was just, some cat beds are heated, and I don't know the brand, but I know that they exist. So maybe do an online search for heated cat beds. And then I've actually seen like a heating pad, just like we would use, that you can put a towel or a blanket over so it doesn't get too hot for them. And then they usually have different settings. I haven't used one in years, but just something like that, right?
I try to stay away from the normal heating pads that have these certain electromagnetic frequencies that are coming out the wall. I do prefer the more the crystalline infrared mats.
Okay. Yes.
There's a variety of companies out there, and some of them are more cost effective than others. But if you're looking to buy something special for you and your cat, then you can invest in something that I have one in my home. It's called a biomat. And it's a far infrared technology, and it's lined with amethyst and tourmaline crystals. And everybody loves it. As soon as I take it out, the cats are all over it. They're the first ones.
Oh, that sounds really, really nice. And I'm glad you said that, because I forget about EMFs sometimes. I mean, I think about it with obvious stuff like your phones and your computers and, even my electric toothbrush. But I don't always think about it with other things. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and then one way, I mean, you can make all sorts of delicious, like little heating systems. You can make your own, or you can take a sock and put some lavender in it with some rice and sew it up, or make a knot, and then you can put that in the microwave, just warm it up, and then you have your nice little smelly lavender heating pad, and you can put other scents in there, things like clove or cinnamon,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of make it more holiday. And
Yeah. She says she has a crystal about crystalline. She says the biomat, amethyst, and tourmaline crystals. We'll look for these. Thank you. That's cool. How do those kinds of mats work with the crystals? I've never seen one.
well, I mean, they plug into the wall, like get the electricity
Okay.
from the wall, but the technology creates it's far infrared technology built into the mat
Okay.
that's infused into the crystals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
these,
interesting.
tourmaline and amethyst are very healing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very balancing and overall globally healing crystal. And the tourmaline helps to bind all of those negative energies and frequencies.
Oh, that's true.
So I
Yeah.
think that's probably why they chose those two particular crystals.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I have a black tourmaline crystal and I have an amethyst crystal in my other room. So, yeah, beautiful. I love crystals. They're just so pretty too.
Oh, that's
So
love
many,
it.
many great ideas. Yeah, so do you guys have any other questions? Is there anything specific that we could give you some ideas for on navigating the holiday stress with your pets? What about travel? Let's say, what if you have to travel with your pet, Dr. Barrie? So, what would you recommend for
Well,
that?
if you have to travel with your pet, it
Mhm.
depends on how you're traveling. So it depends on if you're traveling in a car or you're getting on a plane. Um, you have to take certain precautions, and to getting them on the plane. Hopefully, a lot of these cats will be in the cabin. Um,
Mhm.
Most cats will probably some kind of sedation or relaxation. So I would probably use, um, if it's a really stressful situation, you can use a pharmaceutical. I know a lot of people use gabapentin for anxiety in cats. I'm not a huge fan of that, but in certain animals that are so incredibly stressed out, it really does seem to help take
Mhm.
the edge off and relax them. However, there are things like flower essences and aromatherapy, essential oils that
Mhm.
you use, and tinctures, like that will calm you. Things like passion flower and skullcap will help to calm them. And there are
Interesting.
companies that make little tincture blends for that.
Yeah. And then there's Cat Calm by Feline Essential that is a blend of like 80s two different herbs and essences or something. It's fabulous. So that's yeah, and then color, like the color green for is very grounding. You can put baby blue, it's very calming. Purple is great for anxiety and nervousness. So if you just put something of those colors inside their kennel, those frequencies can help. I think a multi-prong approach is probably the best when you have
Yeah. Yeah.
taking them out of their normal environment and having to travel or whatever. But
Right. And don't forget about sound therapy. Sound therapy is very soothing. Things like tuning forks, if people have tuning forks, or just having some soft music. I mean, I know you really can't travel with soft music, but you can hum to your
well, if
cat
you're in the car, if you're driving, you could.
if
So
you're
playing
driving. Yeah,
soft
absolutely.
music, that meditation type music, solfeggio frequencies,
Right.
things
Right.
like that. Classical music, cats love classical music.
Yeah.
It's very calming. I've
Yeah.
never been much of a fan, but I know the cats like
Yeah. I love classical.
it.
And
um,
also, too, if you are leaving your animal home,
mhm.
that's another thing. People have to go away and they leave their animals home.
Yes.
So if that's the case, it's nice to have someone stay at your house, or if you have a good boarding facility that you like. However, if no one's staying at their house and they are checking in with the cats, like a lot of people I know will have someone come twice a day. They feed the cat, they clean the litter box, and they go away. The most important thing I can say about that is that whoever is watching these cats, make sure that they actually take inventory, and they take the time when they feed the animal to watch them eat. Don't free feed. If that's kind of what you're doing, if you're feeding sort of kibble, try not to do that. Use meal times, and make sure that they're actually eating when they do. And if they're not, this pet sitter needs to know that if something goes wrong, there's a place that they can go to. An emergency clinic that they have access to, and then they have your contact number. And if you're going overseas or out of the country, please give them either some way to monetarily pay for things, whether it's a credit card number that you have for them, or you make an agreement that you're going to reimburse them, because people get into those situations in the heat of the moment and they don't know what to do.
Yeah. Or even calling your vet clinic and just having your card on file so that your pet sitter can take them there, knowing that the card is there, just
right.
It's on file, so if they need it, they can use it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that many places that actually do that. I know we don't keep credit cards on file, but we're an emergency place. But also know that most of the time animals get them when they need help. It's after hours and on the weekends when they're closed. So I would make an arrangement for an emergency situation if needed.
Yeah,
because when you're prepared, you never need it. It's always be prepared for something and not need it, than need it and not be prepared.
Right. That's true. And something you said a while ago about having the pet sitter, whoever's taking care of your cat, actually know that they're eating their food. And I would say also make sure they are using their litter box.
Yeah.
Because if there's nothing to scoop, it's like, okay, either you're not going, or where are you going? And it would be very concerning if they're not going. You know what I mean? That's not good. So yeah, just little things like that. Peace of mind, man, just peace of mind, right? Hey, what else can we share? What other questions or situations do you guys find yourselves in the holidays that we can kind of shed some light on? Any other thoughts, Barrie, on ways that, like, how do you keep yourself just calm during the holiday season?
Well, I think the most important thing for me is perspective. And to know, and to also honor every moment of where I'm at. So I do, usually my day starts with, before I get out of bed, I set the intention for the day. What it is that I want to achieve or create, and how do I want my day to look. So even before I get out of bed, I do a physical check-in with my body, see where I'm at. If there's any aches, pains, or issues that I need a little bit extra loving before I get out of bed, and then I set my intention for the day, and then I start the day. And usually the flow of the day follows my intention setting. And if I have situations where I fall into that I feel anxious or nervous or frustrated, then I'll try to be aware of that in the moment and check in with myself and take a breath. Always breathe, because whenever you're caught up in a situation, the first thing to do is breathe, and you will be so surprised how different you feel after you've taken those breaths. And it's really just for 1 minute, like a solid 60 seconds. You'd be surprised what can happen in 60 seconds. Like there was, I was at a store the other day, and I was online, and there was a lady that kind of went in front of me, and I wasn't sure if she was online or not because she was at this weird angle. And there was like, I don't know, 25 people in line. And I asked her, I said, are you online? And I mean, she looked at me and she said, yes, kind of, snippety.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, okay. And I just smiled at her, like, what am I going to do? I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. And then she softened up when she saw my smile, and,
Mhm.
not to take things personally,
Yeah.
not to take other people's reactions, stuff, and whatever they're saying. Don't take it personally. It's never about you.
Yeah.
Um, and then just if you flash back a smile, you'd be surprised at what that does to someone else. They just instantly just shift, and you can feel the softness.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then they're gonna smile, and then it's like a ripple effect. So I think someone has to be the start. You
Yeah.
know,
No, that's beautiful. That's
so
beautiful.
why not you?
Yeah. Well, and the same thing with family because, we all have that one family member. So some families have multiple family members that are just, not necessarily really fun to be around and might be the negative Nelly all the time or whatever. There might be some history or whatever. So I think that kind of advice is also very applicable. If we can be that spark of light and just love and just soften the environment and make it positive, because I feel like our energy definitely can affect those around us and it kind of sets the tone. Even if even if there's only one negative person, but if everybody else is very positive, it can help mitigate that negative energy. So
Yeah,
like you said, just setting that intention and being positive, having
yeah.
that mindset.
Right. And I feel it's the energies of the time, the year, the
Yeah.
cosmos, the universe. It's all supporting our higher level of consciousness, and raising our vibration. I mean, there's so much talk about that now. It's becoming almost common conversation.
Yes.
And so I think that that's a real thing that we just all need to sort of what I call level up, you
Yeah.
know, to a higher frequency. And it starts with a smile. And like you said, gratitude, and,
Mhm.
it's,
Yeah,
and just feel what that feels like. Get familiar with that feeling, you know?
absolutely. Embrace it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we came up with actually, I'm going to give you credit because it was your idea to do some cards to draw.
Yeah.
So we both pulled a deck. I have an oracle deck, and what is yours called?
My oracle deck is called the Mystical Shaman Oracle.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
My personal deck that I have. I use it in my shamanic practices. I love it. This is what, I don't know if you can see it. That's the outside of it.
Yeah.
It's super pretty. And I'd love to, we'll pick a card from each deck, and that would be like a
Yeah.
blessing,
Yes,
for,
I agree. Just like what message does the universe have to share or
yeah.
word of encouragement or whatever. So I will let you go first.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
show you that going through my deck. All right, I'm
Love
gonna
it.
pick a,
Love it. Love it.
tapping into the world around us. Okay. Oh, what an interesting card.
Yes.
So I picked this card. Put that up there. I don't know if you can you see that?
Thunder. Yes, it's beautiful.
It says thunder, and
Thunder.
it's so interesting that we picked that. It has moons and buffalo moving through it, and I'm gonna tell you what that means. Um, Thunder is a very transformative type of a card, and it says when thunder comes into your reading, it refers to a big dramatic change that feels like a herd of wild bison on the run.
Mm,
You feel it right through your bones, and you know that you are powerless to influence whatever events have been set into motion. It's a time to be prepared for anything.
Mm.
Your life is an adventure,
Yeah.
and wonderful opportunities are arriving now. The trick is to learn learn how to run with them. It says the qualities you'll need now more than ever are flexibility and
Mm-hmm.
dexterity and a willingness to experience it all without dictating from where or in what form opportunities will come. Your destiny is arriving, so be ready.
Oh, I love that. That's a great card,
It's a great,
especially for this time of year, you know? You just have to be ready for anything and
yeah. Yeah.
expect just,
So it's an energy, it's a very high energy card
yeah.
with an allowance. And flexibility, I think, is a very beautiful word, especially now, because we need to just be flexible. A lot of things are changing, and to be mindful of that.
Yeah. And like you said, go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Don't try to change it. Don't try to interrupt it. You just have to get caught up in that river, that flow, and just go. Because trust where you're going is where you need to be. Right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. So thank you for that. Was awesome. Okay, the deck that I'm pulling from is called I don't know if you can see that. Witch Cats. And this is from Love and Above Cat Club. These little oracle decks. I love this deck, and they're just beautiful. The artwork is amazing. So let me see what we're going to use. Actually, hold on a second. Let's see. What does universe want to share? Okay. Oh, this is cute. Oh, this is pretty. So this is the kitty. You can see that. Okay. This is one magical step.
Mm.
Meet Glimfeather Practicum, Slayer of the Overwhelm. Can't make this up. Leaving the intricacies of his sacred path to spirit, he focuses on what is right before him. He rifles through his grimoire, brimming with simple, practical magic until his intuition points to that one little action with the power to shift something big. What small step is calling you right now? Meditating with a crystal, touching a tree, lighting a candle, dancing to your favorite music, or even just taking a few deep breaths.
Mm.
Trust in the magical unfolding that will spring from this one simple action. So, one small magical step.
Aw. See how you can't, it's perfect.
It is perfect. It always happens when I do these drawings. It's just you can't make it up.
No, it's that's how spirit works through, right? It's the
Yeah.
messages when you're open to receive, it always gives you the message that you're meant to hear. And
Yes.
then it's an alignment, you and I are with our two cards. It was just beautiful. It's the message that we all need to hear.
Yes, absolutely. Loveandabovecatclub.com is where you can get the cat decks. And then the shamanic deck, where can people find that?
Oh, well, they can get that online. It's called the Mystic. You can see that.
Oh, okay. The Mystical Shaman Oracle. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Just
Yeah.
do a little search for that online. You should be able to find them.
Yeah. And I wanted to do a quick shout out to it's it's gift giving times, and if anyone is interested in giving a really cool book, there's a book here that is written by my cat, Senior Queso. It's called The Stupid Things My Human Does: True Stories from the Animal ER. And it was written by Senior Queso.
I love Senior Queso.
I helped him write the book, and it's a lot of the stories. Some are holiday stories, some are they're just really, really fun stories. So yeah, you can get that on Amazon as well.
Beautiful.
Great gift.
Yeah, any cat it's like, how many times do we have to buy something for someone or a cat lover friend? We're like, they have everything, right? So what do you buy them? You buy them something like that they don't have. That's just fun and lighthearted. That just warms their heart because hello, it's cat, right?
Right. And it's a cat telling stories about other animals too.
Yes,
So
it's
dogs and
so
bears.
unique.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I remember just over the years, people would family members would say, "Don't you have enough cat stuff?" And I would just look at them like, "Really? You're asking me that?"
Yeah.
That's just not even a possibility. It just give me something with a cat on it, you know?
I'd like to share a quick ER story.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just to my mind of, it's about a washing machine and a dryer. And just so people can have awareness around this, because I know sometimes this happens. I've seen a lot of cats come in that just walked into the dryer and the owner didn't know, and they closed the door and they start putting the dryer cycle on. That is unfortunately a common thing. So always
Mm,
check your dryer.
mm.
Cats that I have seen came in, they're all alive, but they were kind of burned a little bit from the heat because the owners realized it after a short time. But so be mindful, cats love to go into the dryer. It's not that common to have cats go into the washing machine. And I had my first washer cat come in last weekend, and it was a front loader washing machine, and he was just in it. Mom didn't know. And so she was running a cleansing cycle for the wash, which was about 15 minutes long.
Oh
And
my gosh.
she, closed the door and started running it and walked away,
Oh my gosh.
not even knowing that the cat was in there. And she came back in 15 minutes. And on the washer, she said there was an error sign. Maybe it felt that something was in there, but she opened the washer, and she found her cat. He was sitting up in the washing machine, and he was soaking wet and kind of beaten up, a little tattered, because he was sort of banging around, but he was okay. Thank goodness. I don't know how that happened, that he was okay. But maybe because it was a special cycle, that it wasn't too hot or it wasn't too long,
Mhm.
wasn't that much water in it. I don't know. But this little cat was absolute trooper and a love, big, big love. We dried him up and, gave him some overnight care, and he went home and he did great.
Oh
But
my
just,
gosh.
yeah, so just be mindful of machinery and your cats, please.
Please. Yeah. We don't need any holiday emergency room visits.
No, no, you don't want to spend your holiday in the ER.
No. I think this goes back to mindfulness, just paying attention and slowing down. And I do a head count every night just because I don't know where everybody is, necessarily. They all come out eventually, but I just, you just have those moments where we're like, I haven't seen so and so in a while. And I have to go check and make sure everybody's here and not, where are they? Sometimes
Right.
I don't even find where their hiding place was, but they end up showing up. So thank goodness. But yes, thank you for sharing that story, because yeah, we just want to avoid as many problems. We don't need more stress for our holidays. So yes.
No, no. So I think the big take home messages are, I think we've covered a lot of ground, honestly.
Mhm.
Is to check in with yourself, feel your own body feels, get familiar with, how you pick up stresses, how you feel when you're stressed, how you feel when you're not stressed, to be
Yeah.
able to check in with your animals on a daily basis and spend some extra time with them, and to allow yourself some special time for yourself. And you can include your pet, like lighting a
Mhm.
candle, playing some music, putting some aromatherapy on, things that will help with relaxation, setting
Mhm.
the tone for the day, and communicating with your animals about what's going to be happening,
Yeah.
and to just be mindful and be flexible, be adaptable, and smile more, and
Mhm.
be grateful, and move through your life with ease and grace.
I love that. That's a great way to wrap things up. So, with that said, thank you guys for joining us. Please share this video with anybody that has a pet that you love. so we can reach more people and, give them some tools to get through the season. And we wish you guys a very Merry Christmas, of blessings for the new year. And
Yeah.
we'll be back in the new year with some more show ideas. So until then, you guys just stay safe, enjoy the holidays, love yourself, love your pets, and we will see you very soon.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.